It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus. Stream all your favorites with the Disney Bundle. Disney Plus has Loki and Luca. On Hulu, watch originals like American Horror Story and 9 Perfect Strangers. And ESPN Plus has every match of Spain's thrilling La Liga. Get the Disney Bundle today for only $13.99. Includes Hulu ad-supported plan. Access content from each service separately. Terms apply. See thedisneybundle.com for details.
Hi guys, this is Mo Sider from the Detroit Red Wings. You guys listening to Locked On Red Wings.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, and today's episode is brought to you by our Top 50 Players segment. Who are this season's top 50 NHL players? Find out on the Locked On NHL podcast. Joe DiBiase, Mike DiStefano, and Rachel Donner reveal the top 50 players as voted on by our local experts across the Locked On NHL network of podcasts. Subscribe to the Locked On NHL podcast on YouTube and turn your notifications on so that you never miss an episode. I know for a fact they did the snubs on Tuesday's episode. I can tell you one thing. If we're going to talk about Red Wings, that's the only place you're going to find them. Not a single Red Wing made it into this top 50 list. And Scott, let's real quick take a quick diverted path here. Scotty Bentley, I'm Nolan Bianchi, your host of Locked On Red Wings. Do you think that a Red Wings player deserved to be in the top 50? Because the only name that honestly comes to mind in terms of how they performed over the last couple of years might be Jacob Vrana. I think that might be the only one, and only because the metrics are on his side. The numbers necessarily aren't on his side. The traditional counting stats, given, the way his last couple seasons in Washington went over, but that was the only name that really came to mind. And it only takes me 2 seconds to go, well, he wasn't that great in Washington. He had 11 good games with the awful Red Wings. Why would they put him in the top 50?
Yeah, I would say no. I think the only person that might have snuck on there would have been Larkin. I don't know. Vrana obviously did great at the end of last season, but I mean, he was getting healthy in Washington. So, I don't think anyone on this current roster was really close to cracking that list. But I do think that Larkin is like one kind of, I don't want to say bounce back because he's been surrounded by nothing, but especially in 1920, but he's one kind of like, hey, I'm like still here and still really good season away from probably getting considered to be put back on, maybe not back on. I don't know 2 years ago's list, but getting a lot more consideration for that.
So Miguel Cabrera over the weekend, speaking of top 50 players, top 50 players of all time, maybe. Miguel Cabrera, the Detroit Tigers slugger, hit his 500th home run over the weekend. Congratulations to Miguel Cabrera, one of our childhood heroes. Scott, I know on Tuesday's episode of Locked On Tigers, you had Miguel Cabrera Day planned. So go check that out if you haven't done that already. What'd you do for Miguel Cabrera Day?
We literally just sat there for all 3 segments, just kind of reminisced and talked about his career, the trade that brought him in, the contract and the controversy around that, the peak of Tiger success and our favorite home runs specifically, just all that kind of stuff. It's literally, I think I literally named it an ode to Miguel Cabrera. I literally just talked about Miggy the entire half-hour show. So
of course, off day on Monday, why not get some good Tigers content? So go check that out. We're going to do something a little similar here, except we're going to open it up to the entire Red Wings franchise. The Red Wings, obviously one of the most historically great franchises in all of sports. And there were quite a few guys who achieve milestones of the sort. And so I was just kind of curious. I started digging around today, going on Hockey Reference, seeing, who would be in the 600 goal club, who would be in the 700 goal club, just trying to remember, if any really momentous moments in Red Wings history of the sort like that happened since the time that I've really been alive, and cognizant of those kinds of things. So Steve Yzerman likely would have shattered a couple milestones in that time. He ended up with 692 career goals. So that, and then Brett Hull scoring 700, and then Ozzy winning his 400th game were really like the only three things that came to mind. I'm sure there were like plenty of Nicholas Lidstrom things in there yet, but like as far as counting stats go, when they simply don't stack up to some of the great forwards of the game. And so I don't know. I thought it would be kind of interesting, take a trip down memory lane, and we're going to have a fact off as well. So what me and Scott have done for the last couple hours is, at least I have, buried myself on Wikipedia, buried myself on Hockey Reference, and I just got lots of cool facts. And Scott's going to bring his cool facts. I don't know where he researched. Hopefully it was in at least one other different source in Wikipedia, because that is, I do call dibs on that source.
A lot of websites that end in the word reference. That's what I use.
There we go. Perfect. Not me. And so we're just gonna have a fact off. We're gonna go through some of these prestigious club members a bit first, but I'm really excited. I found a lot of weird random stuff while I was going through all of this. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I did too. There were some trips down memory lane for sure for a couple of them.
Now, most of mine are like 90s and beforehand. So depending on what you kind of picked up on the back end there.
Same-ish, to be honest with you. I mean, like, that's where a lot of like the obscure ones come from. Because if they haven't been, with how good of teams we've had since like the 70s and 80s, like the normal like counting stats ones have been broken like 7 times since then. So like it's got to be really obscure for those to still be in that era. So yeah, same.
All right, so quick, let's go through some of the prestigious goal club members. We got 800 goals, who finished with 801. That's Gordie Howe. Only 2 members in that club, him and Wayne Gretzky. 700 goals, Brett Hull. He's got 741 all time, 4th in NHL history, and he scored 700, number 700 in a Red Wings uniform. I remember I used to be obsessed with just like memorabilia and apparel, and like the summer days used to be just me scrolling the NFL, NHL, NBA shop like 24/7. That's all I used to do. And I remember there was a website called Hockey Inc. And one of the pictures they had on there was Brett Hull, like a shot from behind Brett Hull. He set up on the face-off dot, ripping a one-timer for 700, and it's subscribed with 700 goals. And I will never get that image out of my mind because I wanted it so bad, but it was like $60 and I had -4 cents to my name.
No, that's awesome though.
Not
the 4 cents part, but the memorabilia part.
I was 12, most 12-year-olds are in a similar financial predicament.
Don't have a big net worth. Yeah.
No, 600 goal club. Only Steve Yzerman are the Red Wings to do it. Now, this one is actually kind of interesting because there's like quite a few legends who came up just short of 700. So Steve Yzerman ranks 10th all time in goals with 692. Right behind him with 690 is Mario Lemieux, and right behind them is Teemu Selanne with 684, and then Mark Messier is in front of Steve Yzerman, 9th all time with 694. That would really irk me if I was like an all time great. Do you think? Like A-Rod has like 694 home runs. Right. Like, dude, you gotta come. Like, you gotta.
So Gary Sheffield is the big one in baseball that he said he was going to retire at the end of the season, and then the end of the season came and he had 499 homers, and he was like, all right, F that. He came back for like half a season, hit like 6 homers. I think he retired with like 504 or 505 or something like that. And I was like, all right, I got 500. I don't care anymore.
That's funny. It's like that movie, Mr. 3000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great movie.
It is fantastic.
Also in the 600 goal club is Dino Cicerelli. He didn't play all of those years in a Red Wings uniform, but he did play a lot of those years in a Red Wings uniform. I believe the first undrafted player in NHL history to go to the Hall of Fame. Shout out Dino. Got a great, nice little restaurant there on 22 and Hayes. Go to Cicerelli's 22 or whatever the heck that place is called. Let's see. Next on the list, Pat Verbeek, a former Red Wing and current Red Wings executive, just got named GM of the Grand Rapids Griffins last week. He is at 522. Norm Allman with 490, a Red Wing from way back in the day. I don't think he played his entire career with the Red Wings, but that's just kind of how it was back then. Like guys just getting traded at the end of their careers all the time. Sergei Fedorov with 483. He's in the 400 goal club alongside Alex Delvecchio, who has 456. Something interesting about Sergei Fedorov is that he had exactly 400 goals wearing the winged wheel. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is kind of interesting.
And I got to be honest, I forgot to look up Datsuk and Zetterberg's all-time goals, but I don't think either of them are part of the 400 club. Actually, no, they aren't.
That Pavel doesn't really surprise me. Zeddy does a little bit.
So Zetterberg had 337, but he had 960 points. So there you go. A ton of assists. And those Red Wings teams, they didn't have goal scorer like that. Like it just wasn't how that team was built. Yeah. Like they just had so many guys that scored. Real quick here before we wrap up segment 1, 1,000 assists. We got Steve Yzerman and Gordie Howe. Steve Yzerman actually has more assists than Gordie Howe with 1,063 compared to Gordie Howe's 1,023. 800 assists. We got Nicholas Lidstrom and Alex Delvecchio, 1,000 points. Gordie Howe, Steve Yzerman, Alex Delvecchio, and Nicholas Lidstrom. I believe those are guys who only did it in a Red Wings uniform, maybe. No, Ted Lindsay only had 851. Okay, never mind. Shutouts. Terry Sawchuk, 85. Chris Osgood, 39. I believe Terry Sawchuk's was a record before Martin Brodeur broke it. And then the 400 win club with the Red Wings, Terry Sawchuk and Chris Osgood. Terry Sawchuk, 445. 350 of those came with the Wings. And Chris Osgood, 401. 317 came with the Wings.
Yeah, Sawchuk's got a lot of them goalie records, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
Including stitches to the face, folks. All right, yes, I got to talk to you
very much so
about betonline.ag. It's that time of year again, Scott. All eyes are on the gridiron. I don't know about mine. I know yours are still on the baseball diamond a little bit, but I'll keep an eye on the gridiron. You keep an eye on the diamond, and together we'll team up, go to betonline.ag and just run it. It's the number one spot for our pro and college football action this season, as well as pennant races going on in both the American and National League. Get all the latest updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 100% welcome bonus. Scotty Bentley, I completely forgot that they were giving out 100%. It shakes me to my core, to my marrow yet again to find out they're giving away so much money. Be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on Thursday, September 9th, the season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25 for new customers only when signing up and using promo code NFL10. So you need 2 promo codes here. One for the wager free bet on opening night. That one's going to be NFL 100. And then to get the 100% welcome bonus, it's going to be Locked On. That's the same one that it's always been. LOCKEDON. If you don't know by now, then you should. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports, from football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait. Take advantage of all the great offers available for the 2021 season at BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't forget promo code Locked On and promo code NFL 100.
This episode is brought to you by HP. Whenever you do your best thinking, the HP Spectre X360 is ready when inspiration strikes. With power save for battery life and focus mode to multitask, you can do your best thinking whenever and wherever it happens. You can't always schedule when and where you might have a brilliant thought, whether it's in the morning or before bed, when you're at your computer or away from it. Thinking can happen anywhere and anytime. The HP Spectre X360 2-in-1 convertible PC with Windows 10 saves battery life for whenever an idea hits you. HP Spectre X360, a more thoughtful laptop.
And just missed. Moving up Whitney. Whitney circling. Free to go. Eiserman. Oh. 2 seconds. Score! Steve Eiserman. Oh my God. 7 seconds left. The Red Wings win.
All right, we're back. Segment 2 here at the Locked On Red Wings podcast. Nolan Bianchi, Scotty Bentley. Go follow us on Twitter. I'm at Nolan Bianchi. He's at Bentley Scotty, and we are at LO_Red Wings. It's the best way to make sure that you stay up with everything that we, you're talking about online, things like that. Scotty Bentley, let's start our fact off here. Will you lead us off for the fact off? And this just kind of came to be because I was just tweeting random facts that I was finding on Twitter, and they were getting some pretty good traction. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to save these and let's talk about them on the podcast. So now you are going to give us some of yours as we start off here, and we can just go back and forth. It doesn't have to be too.
Sure. So I was looking at PIMS. Okay.
Nice.
And because that's a fun place to start. And at the top for all time Red Wings PIMS is obviously Bob, because so that was whatever, I think I kind of knew that going into it, but then you go to the single season leaders. Okay. And for career, like I said, I knew Prober was going to be number one. For penalty minutes by season, they give you the top 10 all time. Tough guy Bob single-handedly holds 5 of the top 10 all-time Red Wings.
I thought you were going to tell me he had all 10. And I was going to shit myself, but that's still pretty incredible.
He has 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
What is number 1 for most in the season?
In 87-88, 87-88, he was 2 minutes shy of 400 PIMs.
So 398 divided by 60. That is 6 hours and 6 or 3. So 6 hours and 40 minutes in the penalty box.
Yes. So 1, 398, 4, 315, 6, 292, 7, 276, 8, 276, 9, 275.
We should try and calculate how many days he spent in the penalty box.
In his career?
Time. Yeah.
Okay. I have his career right here too. So his career, geez.
All right, you do that and just start doing it, and I'll give you, because I got some penalty.
It's 2090, by the way. Is his career PIMS?
Speaking of penalty records, Joey Kocur actually holds the record for most penalty minutes in a single period. He had 37 in a single period in November 1985. In a game against the St. Louis Blues. He actually also that night set the record for most penalty minutes in a single game with franchise record. These are franchise records for Joey Kocur. And then he also had 42 penalty minutes that night. So he kept his nose clean for the rest of the night, only had 5 minutes in the box, but those are both franchise records for penalty minutes, both in a period and in a game. So that's almost the entire game he spent. He spent more than 2 periods in the penalty box, which I didn't even know they would let you continue to play under those circumstances.
That's sensational, though. That's incredible,
man. Do you want me to give another one, or are you still?
So it's so for his Red Wings career, where he had 2,090 penalty minutes, that is almost a day and a half in the penalty box alone. That is 1.45 days.
I want to. We should make a graphic just like of all the different things that he could have done while in the penalty box, like watch Die Hard 38 times. Like
for real, a day and a half.
That's awesome.
Like 34 hours. All right, you go again. I'll pull up my other one here.
All right. The most average ice time during a playoff run is held by Nicholas Lidstrom. He had 31 minutes and 55 seconds per game in the 2006 playoffs when the Red Wings were upset by the Edmonton Oilers, who went all the way to the Cup final before losing to the Hurricanes. Now, the one thing with this is that that was a very, very small sample size. And what can happen in there is if one of those games goes to overtime or something like that, it doesn't necessarily give the water enough time to find its level. So we had 2 double OT games in that series, which definitely contributed to that historic mark for St. Nick. But just thought that was pretty interesting. 31 minutes and 55 seconds per game.
That's unbelievable. That's a very, very impressive number.
What do you got for me?
So I have the Detroit Red Wings, one of the most storied franchises there is. Obviously, tons of incredible names to come through. The all-time leader in goals per game for a Red Wings career. Do you know who it is already?
Yeah.
With zero
bango
with 0.56 is Mickey Redmond, ahead of the likes of Gordie Howe at 0.47, Steve Yzerman 0.46, Brendan Shanahan 0.43, Sergei Fedorov 0.44, Ray Shepard 0.55. He is the franchise's all-time leader in goals per game, and I just think that's fantastic.
So, you said Shepard, Mahavlich.
Mahavlich is 3.55.
Ogrodnik, Howe, Yzerman,
Howe,
right?
Yep.
So Ray Shepard, let's talk about him. I got one on him.
Okay.
In 5 seasons with the Red Wings, 5 seasons, his shooting percentage was the greatest in NHL history, 20.1%. For 5 years. This man sustained a 20.1% shooting percentage.
That is unbelievable.
And then he got dealt to the Sharks for Igor Larionov, and everybody was like, "What the hell?" And yeah,
ended up being okay.
Yeah,
that's wild.
So that's pretty cool.
That could you imagine like we talked about like Larkins, and we were like, oh, it'll like normalize or whatever. Like you imagine, or like Ernie. Like, oh, like, he's got to come back down to earth a little bit. If we're recording a show during someone having he's in the middle of his third straight year.
The year is 2026. Scott and I are recording a post game of Locked On Red Wings, or doing a season recap, and we're trying to figure out whether Adam Ernie's 23.4 shooting percentage is sustainable for a 6th consecutive season.
Yeah, literally, man. Can you imagine? Jeez.
I love it. So I have a points per game.
Okay.
One if
time
for me to squeak that in there too, because it's also not somebody that I expected. Marcel Dion. He is the all-time leader in points per game from ages 20 to 23. He only played 4 seasons, but from ages 20 to 23, he put up 1.18 goals or points per game, which is the greatest pace in Red Wings history. Steve Yzerman is the second with 1.16 and Gordie Howe third with 1.07.
That's very impressive company. I also had one on him where his 74-75 season is he is the Red Wings single season all-time leader in shorthanded goals with 10 that year. He had 10 shorthanded goals that season.
Dion?
Yeah.
Interesting. I also have a shorthanded goal note here. So the most, let's see, the most shorthanded goals in a period. Were two from the same player. Were two by Sean Burr. The other three Red Wings to have scored two shorthanded goals in the same game. Yzerman did it twice. Kirk Maltby did it once, and Darren Helm also did it once.
Darren
two
Helm,
shorthanded goals.
Fantastic
in a single game.
Fantastic.
So that's a nice one. All right, what else you got?
Okay, I have another fun one. So single season again, right? The Detroit Red Wings single season leader for power play goals all time is he had 21 power play goals in 73, 74. It is also Mickey Redmond. And that makes me so happy.
I want Mickey Redmond to have as many NHL and I want Mickey Redmond to have all the Red Wings records.
See, I agree, and that's why I purposely tried to find all of them.
Yeah, I love that. I got a good one for you. The highest plus minus in a postseason run. This is one of my favorite stats ever, and I guarantee I've referenced it before, but I don't know if I've referenced it in front of you. Do you know who it is?
I don't think I know.
In 2009. Take a guess. Somebody you wouldn't expect.
2009, and what's the exact stat?
Playoff record for plus minus in a single postseason.
Oh, geez. Someone I wouldn't expect. I mean, like,
it's Dan Cleary.
Okay, Dan Cleary would have been like my 12th guess. So
yeah. Well, it should have been up higher because he's somebody you wouldn't.
No, that's fair. I guess that's fair.
Nicholas Lidstrom holds the NHL record for career playoff plus minus with plus 61.
He has the Wings all-time record for career plus minus in a winged wheel as well.
But also one thing about plus minus is that they didn't start keeping track of that.
Right. For sure. His is still.
It is dumb high. But he also has the most playoff assists in Red Wings history at any position, which is something that surprised me. Wow. He's got 129 assists. He played 263 games in 20 postseasons for Detroit. The playoff streak started 1 year before his rookie season. So he, more than anybody, is just like associated with I really do think that, like, when you just look at the perfectness of somebody's career, I don't know that you can have a more perfect career than Nicholas Lidstrom. Like,
it's up there, man.
Because, like, on top of like all the stuff that Steve Yzerman and Gordie Howe have to their credit, like, Nicholas Lidstrom's teams never really struggled while he was there. Like, from the time he got there to the time he left, like, they were a playoff team, obviously.
Right. Yeah, literally.
Team, but like, his play never really declined, and he won all of his Norris trophies in the back half of his career. So like there's just like not a single stain on his record in general.
Yeah, for real. He is like ultimate like perfect human.
Like there's literally a reason why they call him that. All right, let's get into segment 3 here. First, I got to talk to you about Built Bar. We do have some more fact off coming up next. But first I got at Built Bar. Built Bar is the most delicious tasting protein bar on the market. Did you know that they have so many delicious flavors? Though there's something for everybody. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, they are definitely passionate about their faves. You know what my flavor is right now for me personally? Mint brownie. I gotta go mint brownie. I'm feeling it a little bit today. It's nice to have something.
I'm still on the cookies and cream bandwagon, man. It's so good.
I don't blame you, Scott. They're all delicious.
So good.
The mint brownie for me, it's just nice because it's like you wake up to it. You know, the mint kind of wakes you up. I like peppermint in my coffee, things like that. But if you haven't tried all the flavors, which I'm assuming you have, because you're a dedicated listener to the show. But if you haven't, you can get a mix box. You get 2 of each of the 9 flavors. Not only are the Built Bars the best tasting, but they're healthy too. 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from only 130 to 180, only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Amazing flavors, all tasty, all healthy. Go to built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off of your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com.
This episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, stream all your favorites with the Disney Bundle. Disney Plus has Loki and Luca. On Hulu, watch originals like American Horror Story and 9 Perfect Strangers. And ESPN Plus has every match of Spain's thrilling La Liga. Get the Disney Bundle today for only $13.99. Includes Hulu ad-supported plan. Access content from each service separately. Terms apply. See thedisneybundle.com for details.
There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin.
All right, segment 3 here at Locked On Red Wings. Noel Bianchi, Scotty Bentley. We're having a fact off here. We're going through some more interesting, obscure stats and records and whatnot from Red Wings history. Here's the one that started it all. I tweeted this out, actually. Jimmy Howard owns the record for most saves recorded in a Red Wings uniform with 13,970. Chris Osgood is second with 12,801, and Terry Sawchuk is third with 376. Somebody was like, "What's your point?" I would take both of those guys over Howard, and I was like, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, dude. I didn't say there was a point. I just tweeted a cool stat. I don't know.
So here's another one from the Twitter thread, because this one was pretty interesting too. Nicholas Lidstrom, since we're on Lidstrom, he was on the ice for 1,046 Red Wings power play goals during his career. 1,046. Second is Steve Yzerman with 945, and third is Sergei Fedorov with 512. Now that is another plus minus stat, so a lot of the guys from the 50s and stuff like that aren't on there, but still, as to steal a line from my friend Scott here, ignorant.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
What else you got? Those are all my Twitter stats. So
okay,
I'll go back to my sheet now.
So I have this one here, which is one of my favorite things when looking and trying to find like crazy stats like that is looking at the top 10s and seeing people that like, okay, this person obviously leads all time in this, but how many like single seasons did they lead it in? And one of the other ridiculous ones was just shots, single season for shots taken from a Detroit Red Wing. So we have first is Steve Yzerman, 88-89. He took 388 shots. 2 is Marcel, 378. 3 is Mickey Redmond, 72-73. Took 363 shots. 4 is Zetterberg with 358. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all Gordie Howe.
Oh my goodness.
Ranging from 357 to 341 between 5. So 6 of the top 10 all-time single season shots holder spots are all held by Gordie Howe, which I just thought was nuts.
That's incredible. Do you did you look up Steve Yzerman's career shots on goal? Because I was going to do an over-under thing at the end with how many you thought it was.
I don't know. You could probably do it. I don't think I remember.
4,000 over under.
Oh. I'm gonna take the under.
It's over. 4,602.
Wow, way over. Jeez.
Yeah. So pretty impressive from
that's unreal
from Steve Yzerman. Do you know the only player in Red Wings history to record a double hat trick?
Ooh, it's not Howe.
Nope, but not Gordie Howe.
What? No way. But
Sid Howe.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Sid Howe.
I was like, there's no way Mark Howe had a double Addy dog.
Unrelated to Gordy. A little bit before Gordy's time. He had a double hat trick in the week of Red Wings. Honestly, like this week could be considered the week of Red Wings. It was actually a little less than 2 weeks apart. But he had a double hat trick in a 12-2 win over the Rangers on February 3rd, 1944. A week beforehand, I believe it was January 23rd, 1944, the Red Wings set the NHL record for most lopsided victory in NHL history, which still stands today, beating the Rangers 15-0. They scored 8 goals in the third period. Sid Howe had a hat trick in the third period.
Wow.
Murray Armstrong, Carl Liscombe, and
had a hattie in the third alone.
Each had 2. Yes, he did. They each had 2 goals. So that was where they did most of their damage. Apparently a 7-0 lead coming out of the locker room after 40 minutes wasn't enough, and they doubled it up. And put up.
They threw out all their best players still.
Period.
Threw out all the starters.
The week of Sid Howe was incredible, and to the detriment of the New York Rangers. I think that was the year that they won their last Stanley Cup. That might actually be it.
The Rangers?
Or no, that wasn't. No, I meant before 1994.
Right. Yeah, that might have been it.
Hadn't it been like 60 years? No, that actually doesn't sound right. Don't listen to me.
I think it was. Regardless, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Sid Howe.
I just love picturing them coming out of the locker room after 2 and being like, all right, all starters, no one's getting no, everyone's still going out there, you're busting your ass off, and it's you're gonna go out there and put the pressure on them.
Or Jack Adams being like, if you don't win by 10, I'm gonna cut your salaries to $8 a year.
Right. Yeah, for real, man. Jeez. All right. I have
the sack of shit.
For real. I have the single season leaders all time for game-winning goals. Okay.
In a season.
Yes. In a single season.
This is interesting.
Most game-winning goals in a single season. Number 1, there is a tie for first place. They both had 11 in a season.
Okay. Before
we go any further, though, coming in tied for third, Mickey Redmond with 9. That's 73-74 season is all of these, by the way. All of these records are the 73-74 season. It deserves more of a look.
I love him.
Mickey Redmond 73-74 should be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. That's my opinion.
It might be because he had it was like a back injury that following year that he was just never the same. But like he was a monster. He was Mickey Redmond was a problem.
He was a problem, dog. 73-74, man. You saw him untuck the jersey in between intermissions. It was over, dog.
Yeah, they're done.
Okay, so there's like a 6-way tie for third with 9 and Redmond and Howe and Yzerman, 2 seasons of Shanahan, Zetterberg are all in there. And then there's a 6-way tie for second with 10. So these we have Carson Cooper, Gordie Howe, Sergei Fedorov, Henrik Zetterberg, and then Johan Franzen is tied. He has 10 game-winning goals in 11-12. Okay.
Wow.
Number 1, the two people tied for first all-time in game-winning goals. 95-96 season with 11 was Sergei Fedorov. And 2002-2003 with 11 was Sergei Fedorov.
Love it.
And then, like I said, with 10 in 93-94, Sergei Fedorov.
The clutch factor.
So he has 3 of the top 3 single season Red Wings records for game-winning goals in a year.
That's incredible.
Unreal.
That is truly incredible. I love that. It doesn't surprise me, but also it kind of does a little bit. It's the most assists during a playoffs run was Nicholas Cronwall. In 2008, he had 15 assists. Not bad. These types of things I feel like just kind of like add to a player's legacy, because like Nicholas Cronwall was a very good defenseman for a long time, but like digging into some stuff like this is necessary every now and then, just to kind of reflect just how important they were to championship winning teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's very interesting. Nicholas Lidstrom has the most playoff assists in Red Wings history. Oh, wait, I already went over that. Sorry. Henrik Zetterberg holds the records for most points in a postseason with 27 in 2008. His 116 shots on goal that postseason are an NHL record. So Hank took a record 116 shots in the run to the cup in 2008.
Unreal.
I am all out of facts. You got
I have one more. One more.
That's perfect.
Points per game, single season.
What we just did, I'm the chips, you're the salsa, and we just finished it on the same chip.
We have the scoops too.
Yeah.
So single season points per game all time. Do you have a guess as to how many of the top 10 Steve Yzerman holds?
Ooh, 5.
He holds exactly 5. Do you want to guess where those 5 lie?
1 through 5? No.
Okay. It's not 1 through 5. You're right.
It's like 1 through 3, and then give me like 5 and 7.
1 through 4 and 8.
Damn. Close. Still impressive.
88, 89. He was almost a 2 points a game player.
Jeez.
He had 1.94. 92, 93, 1.63. So the second all time was 0.3 of a point lower than the most all time. That shows you how absurd that 88, 89 was. 3, 89, 90, 1.61. 4, 87, 88, 1.59. And then, 8 was 1.41, 93, 94.
Jeez.
Sergei Fedorov's in there twice. 93, 94 is 6.
How I was not in there more.
And then, Howe's not in there at all for points per game, that does kind of surprise me. But Yzerman 1 through 4 and 8 all time.
Well, this was fun.
It was very.
I enjoyed this.
It's good.
What was your
fun
favorite
time
fact of the
researching anything involving Mickey Redmond.
Yeah.
Easily.
I get it.
Easily.
I get it. All right. Well, so tomorrow we're gonna have part of an interview with Thomas Bordeleau, not by us, from Locked On Sharks. And we're also going to do some hypotheticals. I think we're going to take a look and do some hypotheticals for next season. So be sure to subscribe, tune in for that. It'll be a lot of fun. Anything else, Scotty, before we bid the people farewell, send them off into their Wednesdays?
I think that's it.
Just always so unsure of myself when talking about the days. Cool. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
What they don't know is that you said April when talking about the day.
Yeah, on the original intro, this is actually a second intro at the start. I emphatically said that today is April. So whatever. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The two top teams in baseball battle it out for 10 in a row. Here's what our local experts are locked on today. The New York Yankees won their 10th straight game, knocking off the red-hot Atlanta Braves 5-1 on Monday. The Yankees are still second to the Rays in the AL East, but for how long? Subscribe to Locked On Yankees on YouTube today to get Stacey Gotsulias' take on one of the most competitive division races in the MLB. New England Patriots quarterback Cam Newton will miss at least 3 days of practice after traveling to a team-approved, out-of-town medical appointment due to what the team is calling a, quote, misunderstanding about tests conducted away from NFL facilities. Could this open the door for rookie quarterback Mac Jones to get the starting job on Week 1? Listen to the Locked On Patriots podcast today to find out. On Locked On NHL, they are ranking the top 50 players heading into the NHL's 2021-2022 season. Subscribe to Locked On NHL on YouTube to watch or wherever you get podcasts to listen. Local experts on the biggest stories, it's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.